Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. Coming off a weekend where it started off good. I had a good Friday night and a good Saturday. Sunday, not so much. I got absolutely leveled yesterday. Wow. Some ugly losses in there too. A lot of blown leads. Really frustrating. But let's put it in the past. Move on to today. Just 4 NBA games on tonight. Let's get into it.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. Hey, get the Source.
First up, Miami on the road in Philly. This is a 7:30 p.m. tip. Totals all the way down to 217.5. Low total for today's NBA. This line opens up Philadelphia minus 6.5. Public is all over Philly in this one. This is actually the most public play on the board by far. Everyone's betting the Sixers here. Line moves down from 6.5 to 6. Some books have it back up to 6.5. It's about half and half now. Let's take a quick look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Philadelphia minus 9.96. So we're looking at about a 4-point lean on Philly. All right, so we know that this Miami team is built around its defense. This is not a team that's going to blow us away offensively. This is a team that's going to come out and play elite defense, and that's how they win games. So it doesn't surprise me that their offense is struggling, but it's all the way down at 27th in efficiency over the last 30 days. I mean, that's unacceptable for this Miami team. This is a team that a lot of people thought was built to win now. 27th in the NBA in offensive efficiency, unacceptable. And to make matters worse, the defense has also taken a slight step back recently. In the last month, they're just 11th in defensive efficiency. And I know 11th is pretty solid, but for this Miami Heat team, they're used to being in the top 5, usually the top 3, actually. The Miami Heat have now lost 4 consecutive games dating back to before the All-Star break. And with the Knicks being red hot, they've actually fallen a few games back into the 7th spot. So to climb out of the play-in, they got to gain, I think they're 3 games back of the Knicks right now. Really tough to back the Heat right now, especially when you're talking about a 76ers team that's been red hot, coming off a loss, a heartbreaking loss too. Jason Tatum with a 3 to win it at the end. But the Sixers are so public here. Everyone you know is betting Philly. Everybody is betting Philly tonight, and this line just isn't moving. Why? So I did a little digging, and I actually found a nice angle that I like for the Heat here. So if you take a look at this Heat losing streak, right? Look at the last 3 games. Charlotte, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, right? Those are their last 3 losses. What do those 3 teams have in common? They're all top 7 at protecting the basket. Miami's last 3 losses have come at the hands of teams who are top 7 at protecting the basket over the last 30 days. The 4th loss is to Denver, and the Nuggets don't fit that mold. They're not elite at protecting the basket, but it's the Nuggets. They're one of the best teams in the NBA, and Miami played them tough. They lost by 4, so I'm not going to bash them for losing to the Nuggets by 4. Philadelphia does not have good interior defense. In fact, that's the weakness of their defense. They have struggled to protect the rim all year. And here you go. There's your angle. If you're looking for an angle to bet the Heat, they've done pretty well against teams that can't protect the rim. They struggle when they play the opposite. They struggle when they play teams who can protect the basket. I completely understand if you're betting the Sixers here. I get it. Philly's been hot and they're coming off a loss, but not me. I'm fading all that action. I'm on the Heat, baby. So let's head over to OddsJam to see if we can steal some value. It looks like we can get Miami plus 6 at minus 108. That's going to be our best value. That's on FanDuel. So I'll take Miami plus 6 at minus 108. Next game. Detroit on the road at Charlotte, 7 p.m. tip. The first game was 7 p.m. also. I said 7:30. That's wrong. They're both 7. Total set at 234.5 for this one, and the line opens up Charlotte minus 5.5. This line's been on the move, man. It got as high as 7, then dropped back down to 6.5. You could see on the graphic, but actually, as I'm recording this, it's now back up at 7. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Charlotte minus 5.6. So we're looking at a couple point lean, about a 1.5 lean on the Pistons here. We are being put in a spot where we're seriously considering laying 7 points with the Charlotte Hornets. If you told me that a month ago, I'd be like, fade, no, absolutely not. But we're really considering it here. In case you haven't heard, the Hornets have won 4 straight, and there's some nice wins in there. They beat the Hawks. They went into Minnesota and beat the T-Wolves. They also beat the Heat. They beat the Heat too. So it's not like they're just beating scrubs. There's some nice wins in there. The question is, do you buy it? Are you buying this newly found Hornets success? And I think the answer is yes to a certain degree, because the interior defense has been there. Even when they were losing games, they were top 5 protecting the rim for most of this year. But now the scoring has arrived. LaMelo Ball is red hot. Gordon Hayward is shooting 70% from 3 during this 4-game win streak. 70%. PJ Washington also balling. Speaking of PJ Washington, I should mention that he's listed as doubtful for tonight, so he's probably not going to play. Definitely a loss for Charlotte, but Detroit's missing Bogdanovich, who's one of their best scorers, so both teams missing a key forward here. I know the Pistons are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. I know that they've been covering. I'm not blind to that. That being said, it seems the books are pretty content on playing against this Detroit sharp money. They keep moving the line, if anything, the other way. So I'm going to be content playing against that sharp money also. So I'm on Charlotte. Let's head over to OddsJam, see if we could steal some value on this one. It looks like in this game, we can get Charlotte -7 and an even -110, which is the best we're going to get here at Bet365 and Caesar. So those are our best two options. Give me Charlotte -7 at -110 next game. Boston is on the road in Madison Square Garden to play the Knicks. 7:30 p.m. start. Total sitting at 224 for this one. Line opened up Knicks +5. I'm assuming this line opened before Jaylen Brown was ruled out for Boston because we're all the way down to Knicks +2.5. Now, I actually saw a couple books have it as low as 2. Public definitely all over Boston heavy, but there's some sharps out there that like the Knicks because the money's about split even. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Knicks -6.12. If you're unfamiliar with my channel, I weight my model heavy towards rebounding. So obviously the Knicks must be rebounding the ball really well. They are 7-1 in their last 8. Like I said earlier, Jaylen Brown out of the lineup for Boston tonight. Obviously that's a huge loss, but Derek White's been playing his ass off, luckily for Boston, so they got another guard ready to just plug into the starting lineup. Both of these teams are pretty hot right now. Boston, 7-1 in their last 8. New York, 7-1 in their last 8. And there's some good signs. There's some good juju surrounding the Knicks right now. That elite perimeter defense might be coming back. Knicks held the Pelicans to just 8 of 38 shooting from 3 the other night. With Mitchell Robinson healthy and back on the floor and Josh Hart added to the rotation, this Knicks perimeter defense could be really scary down the stretch. And they're playing Boston. All the Celtics do is launch threes. The Celtics team attempts threes at a higher rate than any other team in the NBA by a pretty solid margin. I'm assuming that's why the Knicks have had some success against Boston in recent years, because the Knicks under Thibodeau have always had an elite perimeter defense. So I'm rolling with my boys. I'm on the Knicks here. Let's head over to OddsJam, see if we can steal some value. Looks like we can get Knicks +2.5 and an even -110 pretty much everywhere. FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, you name it, you can get it there. So no value to be stolen here. I'll take Knicks +2.5 and an even -110. Last game up, Orlando on the road in New Orleans. This is an 8 p.m. start. Total sitting at 226.5, and this line opened up Pelicans -4.5. We got a roller coaster line on this one. It drops all the way down to 3.5, then comes back up to 4.5. It looks like it's settling in at Pelicans -4. Public and money both slightly leaning New Orleans. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be New Orleans -2.64. So we're looking at a very slight lean on the Magic, about a 1.5 lead. Pelicans returning home from a road trip. I usually don't like betting teams returning from a road trip, but one, it was only 2 games. It seems like it was 4, but the All-Star break was in there, so it was really only a 2-game road trip. And number 2, we always seem to catch value with this Pelicans team when they come home from a road trip, because New Orleans is just so bad on the road. They're just 10-21 on the road this season. That's terrible. At home, they're 20-10. They're a completely different team at home. So whenever New Orleans goes on the road, they look like shit. They lose. Everyone's like, the Pelicans sucks. New Orleans stock plummets. Then they come back home, and usually we can catch them with some value, an extra point or 2 on their line. Jonathan Isaac out for the Magic tonight. He also missed the game the other night against Indiana, where Orlando got beat. I mean, they lost by like 12 or 13. It wasn't terrible. But Orlando got beat by the Pacers without Isaac. Isaac sits again in this one. So I'm taking New Orleans here. I like betting this team at home, and I think their stock is at an all-time low right now. So I'm going to take the Pelicans. Let's head over to OddsJam. Looks like we can get New Orleans -4, -106 on FanDuel. I like that value. Give me New Orleans -4, -106. If anything changes with these bets, I will let you know on Twitter, so give me a follow there if you're interested. Also, if you want the final ticket, which has the top bet, parlay of the day, that kind of stuff, head over to KyleKirms.com or download the Sauce Network app. NBA Monday. Last week was pretty good overall, but there was just 2 real bad days in there, including yesterday. So let's bounce back after yesterday, have yourselves a nice little night. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you on Twitter.